You have to come to the realization that there is no separation between you and your experience of reality. There is no external, internal. From our perspective, of course, we feel I am different from you, I'm different from my environment around me. But you have to understand that all reality is a story that you are telling yourself and about the world around you. And whatever you believe that story to be is the story that you will experience.
Hmm, not too sure about that, but continue to listen. I'll continue to listen.
That's why in the Bible it said that by Jesus, the faith of a mustard seed has the ability to move a mountain, right? Now, I'm no Christian, nor am I a religious person, nor do I believe the Bible is historically accurate or.
You are a Christian though, but and the Bible is stories. But yeah, I can see what you're saying. Continue.
Factually true, but I do believe that throughout the ages, different cultures and different peoples have realized the truth about the nature of our reality and have tried to communicate these truths through different characters and different stories.
Wait, oh, it's your side, your end. Weird noises. Okay, cool.
And so the point is, if you can believe it to be true, that will be true in your experience. Belief can be, however, a difficult thing to manipulate. The mind is a very powerful tool, but like the world's most powerful tools, it is not easy to control. It takes a lot of practice, takes a lot of understanding. Think about the most powerful computers, machines. They require a lot of skill in order to manipulate. Well, your mind is the most powerful tool in reality. And so you might say, oh, so you're saying if I could just believe that I am a wealthy person living in a mansion, that would be my experience of reality?
No way. Everyone wants to be rich. Everyone dreams of that. Everyone focuses on that. Well, some people do, and not everyone gets it, but I do believe that what you're trying to say is actually true because I've experienced really focusing on certain situations. Well, the money one is really difficult to get. It happens, but it doesn't happen a lot. But continue.
Yeah, that's exactly what would materialize in your physical world. However, you and I both understand how hard it would be to actually believe that. When you take a look at your current circumstances, when you take a look at who you are, where you live, the people around you, you have all this information and decades of life experience contradicting this new narrative that you would wish to believe.
True, where someone is born really determines their fate most of the times, unless you're insane and you want to break that curse, which is a very few people have that mentality. So I'm guessing those are the people that manifest what they want. And yes, that's true. That's pretty true. Yeah. Continue.
And I'm also not saying that it would magically materialize instantaneously. There are some who would suggest that that is actually what could be achieved, and this is what would be described as a miracle as a result of having such a high degree of faith. It is the kind of faith, the kind of delusion that the Bible talks about entering into when you assume the mind of a child. Think about how a child believes in things like the tooth fairy, like Santa Claus and things of that nature. If you could believe with the same level of conviction that that is your reality, that you are a wealthy person, living the life of a wealthy person, well, that would materialize. If you could hold to that belief consistently and with the conviction of a child, yes, that would materialize in your world.
Very true, very true. Continue.
And you would live your life with the expectation that that is the experience that you will have. This is why it is hard for most people to manifest anything, because it is so difficult to do that. Because you have all of this contradicting information that your mind has been receiving and believing for many, many years.
I so agree with that. Man, all this garbage we have to go through, religion, school teaching us bullcrap, all these things, man.
And so, one of the biggest obstacles to stepping into your preferred reality, your desired reality, is the fact that you continue to identify with the character of yourself from your current reality or your previous frequency. You continue to interact with reality from that perspective. Let me make this simple. Let's say that you see yourself as the villain. You've always been the villain. If you wish to experience a reality where you are the hero, well, then you must step in to the identity of being the hero. You must assume that frequency. You have to see the world through the eyes of you're the hero. But not just that, you have to see the world from the perspective that the world sees you as the hero. Very difficult to do. Because if you have been vibrating or living life from the point of view of the villain, then you have crafted a reality that sees you as the villain. And so when you try to transition into the frequency of the hero, well, because you don't have the conviction of a child, you don't have that strong of faith, you don't have that strong of a, like a delusional belief, a delusional faith, let's call it, although it's not delusion. This is just how the world works.
Yes, those people who think delusional people are dumb are the ones that are dumb. Being delusional is what you need to be to achieve many things in life. Believe me, trust me, man. But reality will strike and conflict with that delusional mindset sometimes. But if you can stay delusional, you can achieve great things.
And this is why you see this kind of language in the Quran, in the Bible, and all the various writings and teachings of mystics and philosophers, from more modern people like Alan Watts to people going back thousands of years ago like the Buddha. You see this importance placed on having the faith of a child. This is not easy to do, and it becomes more difficult the older you get, because you get more and more embedded in the external. You get more and more embedded in a materialistic view of the world. You become more convinced that things just are the way that they are as you get older. Anyway, you might not have the faith and belief as a child, but your faith and belief, it is a muscle that will get stronger and stronger with time. And so you believe it enough to start the process, to start taking the steps in the right direction. Of course, what does that look like? Being aware of the thoughts that you're entertaining, the emotions that you are allowing yourself to dwell within, and the actions that you're taking. Are you taking actions that are in alignment with the new identity, the new reality, the new frequency that you wish to live life from? So you're doing that. However, your external reality, there's a lag. It's not going to change overnight. You're still going to experience reality, or a reality that sees you as the villain. even though you have started to step into the frequency of being the hero. Now, the speed at which the physical reality will catch up or reflect your internal state is determined by your conviction and ability to buy into this new frequency. However, as we've said, for most people, it is going to have a bit of a delay. This is essentially the thing that makes or breaks your ability to transition into this new reality, how quickly you transition into this new reality, if at all. And that is if you continue to interact with the external from your previous frequency. So,
Yes, all those people that are in your past that are very messed up that you hang out with will bring you down. Jealousy, hatred, all that stuff. Get away from that stuff, man. Seriously, get away from that. I had to get away from everyone and be by myself for a while to figure out things. And I actually ended up reading the Bible, and the Bible was really good. It had a lot of good stuff in it that led me to this point of eventually finding out that this guy was also once Christian. Found out that the religion is just stories, but in the end, it's still a good book to use for like encouragement and like good faith and kindness and all that. Yeah, it still works out, and I can still hear Don does talk about religious stuff, even though he's not religious. He uses the Bible all the time, not on this channel, but his other channel. But yeah, you see where I'm going with this.
let me paint you a picture, a story. So you've been the villain, and now you want to be the hero. Well, somebody is going to come and interact with you from the perspective that you are still the villain. What do you do? If you respond to
Good question. If they come to you, what do you do? Because I was in a bit of a scuffle with someone recently. Well, not scuffle. They messaged me the other day, and I messaged them back, and then it was stagnant. Nothing really happened. I said we could meet up, but I don't think I should have done that, but I did. Right now, nothing is happening, but it's not bothering me per se. But what do you do in a situation like that for real?
that situation as if you are still the villain, well, you are essentially reaffirming that old reality. You are strengthening it. You are
So by me answering that call, went back right into the madness. I get it.
preventing yourself from moving into the new frequency. This is where the whole turning the other cheek kind of mentality really comes into
Bible reference.
play. This is why you have to forgive people. This is why you have to forgive yourself. You must allow the old you to die. In fact, you need to completely disassociate from that old identity. Here's
Totally agree.
one way you can think of it. Do you know how when you purchase a video game and you assume a character, like GTA 6 is about to come out, and best believe it, I'm gonna be playing that shit. But
GTA 6 ain't my kind of game, but I'll probably watch a few reviews and gameplay.
6 is about to come out, right? And in the Grand Theft Auto video game series, you assume different characters. You play the game from the perspective of different characters. Now, you might play the game from the perspective of a 32-year-old drug dealer, right? A 28-year-old D-boy. When you buy the game and turn on the game, you don't have to live through 28 years and, to get to that point. You just hop in the game. You're a 28-year-old drug dealer. Your name is Franklin or whatever the you know, they name the character. And you have past a backstory that is given to you. And you have certain goals and objectives to obtain or to accomplish. You need to see your past self or your current situation in a similar fashion. Today, you woke up and you were given a backstory of your past history. Current mission is to transition into the frequency or the reality you wish to inhabit, and that will require you living in alignment with a certain frequency, maintaining a certain emotional state. It's like, imagine you were put into your body and someone gave you the goal of go and become a millionaire. That's your goal, right? Go and become a millionaire. You're not going to buy into the various stories and experiences and shit that you've had. That's just a story you were given, a backstory for the character. Maybe I'll reframe this in another way. You're you, right? You're you. However, imagine if Jeff Bezos or Bill Gates or Andrew Tate or, you know, it's a different person, a person that you see in a certain way. They switched bodies with you and they have to now assume your identity. They, as far as the world is concerned, they are who you've been up until now. Do you think, how long do you think it is before, you know, Andrew Tate, who is now in your body, has amassed a cult following of angry young men? How long before?
All right, I get it. I get what he's saying. So just focus on whatever you want in life, and I won't say everything will become yours, but I'll say most things if you're really serious. Just focus on being good. I've tried it. It does work. Money thing is the real issue. It's really tough to get like money consistently though. But I'm working on that. And that was a good video. Good video. I'll continue to watch it offline, but you all should watch it. So yeah, peace.